The mysterious beginning. Imagine a world 12,000 years ago, long before the pyramids of Egypt, before written language, before civilization as we know it. Hidden in the rolling hills of southeastern Turkey, an extraordinary site was buried for millennia. Its massive stone pillars, carved with strange animals and symbols, rise like sentinels from the ancient earth. This is Göbekli Tepe, a temple that shouldn't exist. For decades, scholars believed humanity at that time was too primitive to construct anything this sophisticated. Yet, here lies circular stone enclosures, some weighing tens of tons, meticulously arranged in patterns that suggest complex rituals and astronomical knowledge. The question is not just how it was built, but why. Göbekli Tepe challenges everything we thought we knew about the dawn of civilization. Could it be that spiritual life, not agriculture, was the spark that first brought humans together? Could this ancient site rewrite the story of human history? The archaeological wonders. Göbekli Tepe was first noticed by archaeologists in the 1960s, but it wasn't until the 1990s that excavations revealed its true magnitude. What they found stunned the world. Massive T-shaped pillars, some standing over 5.5 meters tall, carved with images of lions, snakes, foxes, boars, and countless mysterious symbols. These stones weigh up to 20 tons, yet they were moved and arranged by people who didn't have metal tools or the wheel. The site is arranged in circular enclosures, often with two enormous central pillars surrounded by smaller stones. Experts believe these central pillars represent powerful deities or ancestral figures. But what's more fascinating is the precision. The carvings are not random. Animals and abstract symbols seem to follow patterns, possibly hinting at stories, rituals, or even early astronomical knowledge. Göbekli Tepe forces us to ask, how did hunter-gatherers, who were supposed to live simple, nomadic lives, create such a monumental, organized site? And why did they eventually bury it, intentionally covering it with soil, only to leave it hidden for thousands of years? The origins of Göbekli Tepe. To understand Göbekli Tepe, we must first step back into a world that existed around 9600 BCE. The Ice Age was ending, and the Fertile Crescent, the region that spans modern-day southeastern Turkey, northern Syria, and northern Iraq, was slowly awakening. Humans were still primarily hunter-gatherers. They roamed the landscape, following herds, harvesting wild grains, and living in small, mobile groups. Agriculture, the cornerstone of civilization, had not yet been invented. Yet, in this seemingly primitive world, a monumental structure appeared. How could small bands of hunter-gatherers coordinate the construction of massive stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons? There were no beasts of burden, no metal tools, no advanced engineering knowledge, just human hands, ingenuity, and perhaps a deep spiritual drive. The earliest layers of Göbekli Tepe suggest that it was not a settlement. There are no domestic structures, no trash heaps, no evidence of permanent habitation. Instead, it appears to have been a ritual center, a place where humans gathered periodically, possibly to perform ceremonies, to commune with the spiritual world, or to mark seasonal events. This radically changes our understanding of human history. For decades, scholars believed that agriculture came first, and religion or complex culture followed. But Göbekli Tepe hints at the opposite. Perhaps the urge to worship, to create meaning, drove humans to settle down and farm, not the other way around. The carvings on the pillars provide tantalizing clues. Lions, snakes, scorpions, boars, and birds, animals both revered and feared, dominate the artwork. Some experts interpret them as totemic symbols, representing clans, ancestors, or deities. Others speculate that they encode cosmological or astronomical knowledge, a calendar of stars and seasons. The T-shaped pillars themselves may represent humans, perhaps ancestors or spiritual beings. These abstract forms, combined with naturalistic animals, suggest a sophisticated thought far beyond what we would expect from hunter-gatherers. But perhaps the most puzzling aspect is the intentional burial of the site. Archaeologists discovered that after centuries of use, Göbekli Tepe was deliberately filled with soil, hiding its enclosures beneath layers of dirt. Why? Was it an act of ritual closure, a symbolic gesture, or something else entirely? No one knows for sure. This act of burying monumental work is unprecedented in human history at such an early stage. It's as if the builders wanted their creation to vanish from memory, to leave behind only its mystery for future generations. Göbekli Tepe forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. What were humans capable of at the dawn of history? Were they more organized, more visionary, and more spiritually advanced than we ever imagined? And what truths about our origins lie buried beneath the hills of southeastern Turkey, waiting to be unearthed?
Göbekli Tepe is more than an archaeological site. It is a challenge to everything we thought we knew about human history. Since its discovery, scholars, historians, and enthusiasts have debated its purpose, its builders, and its implications. Some see it as proof that humans were capable of complex spiritual thought far earlier than previously imagined. Others suggest it may hold secrets of lost civilizations or even prehistoric knowledge we have yet to comprehend. One of the most widely discussed theories is that Göbekli Tepe was a ritual or religious center, predating the rise of agriculture. Klaus Schmidt, the German archaeologist who led the excavation for over 2 decades, argued that the urge to worship may have been humanity's first unifying force, driving groups to collaborate in monumental construction. In this sense, spirituality may have been the spark that led humans from scattered hunter-gatherer bands to organized communities, planting seeds for civilization itself. But not all scholars agree. Some argue that the site could have served as a social or political hub, a place where different tribes came together to negotiate, trade, or settle disputes. The carvings of powerful animals like lions, scorpions, and snakes may have been more than spiritual symbols. They could have represented territorial claims, social hierarchies, or warnings. Every animal, every pattern etched into the stone, tells a story that is still open to interpretation. Then there are the more speculative theories, the ones that capture the imagination of the public. Some researchers propose that Göbekli Tepe holds clues to a lost prehistoric knowledge, advanced understanding of astronomy, mathematics, or even cosmology. Certain alignments of the pillars and carvings suggest connections with celestial events, seasonal cycles, and possibly star charts. Could it be that these ancient humans were tracking the heavens long before we thought they could? Another profound mystery is the intentional burial of the site. Unlike many ancient ruins which collapse or decay over time, Göbekli Tepe was carefully and deliberately filled in with earth. Was this a ritual closure, a symbolic ending of a sacred era? Or was it a form of preservation, a message for future generations? Whatever the reason, the act itself hints at a sophisticated cultural and spiritual mindset, one capable of abstract thought and symbolic planning that rivals later civilizations. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe forces a rethinking of the timeline of human development. For centuries, historians believed that humans gradually evolved from simple hunter-gatherers to organized societies, then to farming, and finally to monumental construction. Göbekli Tepe suggests a reversal of this narrative. Complex ritual life may have preceded agriculture. It suggests that humans were capable of art, organization, and abstract thought long before permanent settlements. In essence, Göbekli Tepe is a mirror reflecting the earliest ambitions of humankind. It asks questions about our spiritual and intellectual origins, about the forces that shaped society, and about the mysteries of a past we are only beginning to uncover. It is both a triumph of human creativity and a riddle buried beneath the sands of time. The architecture and symbolism. Göbekli Tepe's architecture is as enigmatic as its purpose. At first glance, the site is a series of circular and oval stone enclosures, each defined by massive T-shaped pillars. These structures are unlike anything built by hunter-gatherers elsewhere in the world at that time. The precision, scale, and artistry are staggering. The T-shaped pillars, often over 5 meters tall and weighing up to 20 tons, are thought to represent humans, perhaps ancestors, shamans, or deities. Many of these pillars are adorned with intricate carvings, lions, foxes, boars, snakes, scorpions, and abstract symbols. Every animal depicted seems deliberate, chosen for its spiritual, cultural, or symbolic significance. Some experts suggest that these carvings represent totemic animals, guiding or protecting the people who gathered at the site. Others theorize that these carvings correspond to celestial constellations, encoding a form of prehistoric astronomical knowledge.
The layout of the enclosures is equally remarkable. Most are circular or oval, with 2 central pillars dominating each structure, surrounded by smaller supporting stones. These central pillars are always larger and more elaborately decorated, hinting at a hierarchical or ritual significance. The circles may have functioned as ritual arenas, where gatherings, ceremonies, and possibly even initiations took place. Stone carvings are another mystery. Some depict fierce predators, others abstract forms resembling geometric symbols or glyphs. Scholars debate whether these symbols represent early writing, mythological narratives, or something entirely different. The repetition and placement of these carvings suggest careful planning and a deep understanding of symbolic communication. This level of abstraction is extraordinary for a society that, according to previous assumptions, had no formal language or written record. The construction techniques themselves challenge conventional archaeology. How did a group of hunter-gatherers move these massive stones without wheels or metal tools? Some theories suggest the use of wooden rollers, ropes, and sheer human coordination. But even with these methods, the project would have required enormous social organization, cooperation, and planning. Factors previously attributed only to later agricultural societies. The intentional burial of the site adds yet another layer of mystery. Scholars believe the enclosures were filled with soil over several centuries, effectively hiding them from view. This act could have been a ritual, a symbolic closure, or even a practical preservation method. Regardless, it demonstrates a deliberate and sophisticated approach to both construction and destruction, an understanding of legacy that far exceeds what we would expect from hunter-gatherers. Göbekli Tepe's architecture and symbolism are not merely relics of the past. They are a testament to human imagination, spiritual curiosity, and social cohesion. They challenge us to rethink our assumptions about what early humans were capable of, and they invite us to imagine a world in which the sacred, the symbolic, and the monumental came before agriculture, cities, and empires. In short, Göbekli Tepe is architecture as storytelling, a narrative etched in stone that has survived millennia, still whispering the mysteries of its creators to anyone willing to listen. Göbekli Tepe and the dawn of civilization. Göbekli Tepe is not just an archaeological site, it is a window into the very origins of human society. For decades, historians believed that the trajectory of civilization followed a simple linear path. Humans discovered agriculture, settled in permanent communities, developed tools, and then created monumental architecture and religion. Göbekli Tepe challenges this narrative. It suggests that complex social and spiritual life may have preceded agriculture, not the other way around. The sheer scale of Göbekli Tepe indicates that hunter-gatherer communities were capable of unprecedented cooperation. Hundreds of individuals would have been needed to transport, carve, and erect massive stone pillars. This implies not only a division of labor, but also social cohesion, shared goals, and leadership structures, factors traditionally attributed to much later societies. Furthermore, the site highlights the role of spirituality and ritual in shaping human culture. The carvings of animals, symbols, and abstract forms were not mere decoration. They likely played a role in religious ceremonies, storytelling, and the creation of shared cultural identity. It is possible that ritual gathering at Göbekli Tepe created the very need for settled life, as communities may have begun to cultivate food to sustain these periodic assemblies. In this sense, religion and spirituality may have been a driving force for the birth of civilization itself.
Archaeologists have also noted the technological sophistication of the site. The precision of the stonework, the planning required for circular enclosures, and the symbolic alignment of pillars demonstrate a level of intelligence and foresight that exceeds expectations for a society without metal tools or writing. This sophistication raises profound questions. How did these people acquire such knowledge? Was it purely trial and error, passed orally through generations? Or did they possess a form of knowledge now lost to time? Göbekli Tepe also redefines our understanding of human creativity and symbolic thought. The site suggests that humans, even in the Paleolithic era, were capable of abstract reasoning, complex symbolism, and communal artistic expression. These are qualities that, for many years, scholars assumed emerged only after humans had fully transitioned to agriculture and permanent settlements. Finally, the site's deliberate burial remains one of its greatest enigmas. By covering their monumental creation with earth, the builders may have intended to protect, preserve, or even sanctify it, creating a deliberate gap in history. This act itself is a statement about foresight, ritual significance, and the understanding of legacy, concepts that resonate deeply with the origins of civilization. Göbekli Tepe forces us to reconsider the foundation of human history. It suggests that the spiritual and social dimensions of human life may have been the catalysts for technological and agricultural innovation, rather than mere byproducts. In other words, the need to gather, worship, and create shared meaning may have led to the very structures, agriculture, permanent settlements, and social hierarchies that define civilization. The story of Göbekli Tepe is not just the story of stones and carvings. It is the story of our earliest ancestors striving to understand their world, to express their place in it, and to leave a mark that would echo across 12 millennia. It reminds us that civilization did not begin with practicality alone. It began with vision, imagination, and a desire for meaning. The global significance and modern discoveries. Göbekli Tepe is not only a regional phenomenon, it is a site with profound global implications. Its discovery has sent shockwaves through archaeology,
anthropology and the study of human history. Until the 1990s, it was widely believed that monumental architecture and organized religion emerged only after the advent of agriculture and settled life. Göbekli Tepe overturns this assumption. It shows that hunter-gatherers were capable of building monumental, symbolic, and socially complex structures thousands of years before farming emerged. Modern excavation techniques have revealed an astonishing level of detail. Ground-penetrating radar, 3D mapping, and chemical analysis of the soil have allowed archaeologists to uncover multiple layers of the site without disturbing them. These technologies indicate that Göbekli Tepe may contain dozens of enclosures, many of which are still buried beneath the earth. Every layer adds new mysteries. Variations in pillar size, design, and arrangement suggest that the site evolved over centuries, adapting to unknown social, spiritual, or environmental changes. One of the most striking aspects of Göbekli Tepe is its relationship with other ancient sites. While it predates the pyramids of Egypt, Stonehenge, and even the earliest known cities, similarities in monumental design hint at a shared human impulse to create sacred spaces. Across the globe, humans have expressed awe, reverence, and social cohesion through architecture. Göbekli Tepe may represent one of the earliest examples of this universal impulse, demonstrating that the drive to build, worship, and create communities is as old as humanity itself. The carvings and symbols found at the site also suggest a sophisticated understanding of myth, cosmology, and storytelling. Some researchers propose that the animals and abstract forms may correspond to celestial patterns, star alignments, or seasonal markers. This implies that early humans were keen observers of the natural world, capable of translating astronomical observations into symbolic and ritualistic expression.
Göbekli Tepe's global significance extends beyond archaeology. It challenges the linear narrative of human progress and encourages us to rethink the origins of culture, spirituality, and civilization. It asks us to consider that human creativity, cooperation, and symbolic thought did not arise out of necessity alone. They were intrinsic to our nature, manifesting even in the harshest, most precarious conditions of the prehistoric world. In essence, Göbekli Tepe is not just a collection of stones and carvings. It is a monument to human curiosity, ingenuity, and imagination. It reminds us that long before cities, governments, or written language, humans were already striving to make sense of their world, to communicate ideas, to express their place in the cosmos. This ancient site continues to captivate scholars and the public alike because it represents the dawn of human consciousness, a tangible link to the earliest chapters of our collective story. The mysteries that remain. Despite decades of excavation and research, Göbekli Tepe remains one of the most profound archaeological enigmas of our time. Scholars have pieced together fragments of its history, analyzed its pillars, carvings, and layout, but the site continues to defy definitive explanations. Every discovery seems to raise more questions than answers, leaving us to confront the limitations of our understanding of early human civilization. One of the most persistent mysteries is the purpose of the site. While many agree that Göbekli Tepe was ceremonial or religious, the exact nature of the rituals remains speculative. Were the enclosures temples for worship? Spaces for initiations or rites of passage? Or were they social hubs where groups convened to form alliances, negotiate disputes, or exchange resources and knowledge? Perhaps it was all of these things, a multifunctional space that transcended any single purpose. Another enigma is the intentional burial of the site.
Why would a community painstakingly cover its monumental work with soil? Archaeologists believe this was deliberate, but the reasoning remains unknown. Some theories suggest ritual closure, akin to retiring a sacred space. Others propose practical or strategic motives. Perhaps the builders faced environmental or social pressures that made concealment necessary. Whatever the reason, this act demonstrates a level of abstract thinking, planning, and symbolic awareness far beyond what we expected from societies of this era. The carvings themselves continue to puzzle researchers. While lions, snakes, scorpions, and boars dominate the imagery, their symbolic meanings remain elusive. Some interpret the animals as totemic representations, linked to clans or spiritual beliefs. Others see them as part of a proto-astronomical system, potentially recording celestial events, solstices, or seasonal cycles. Certain abstract shapes hint at early symbolic language, perhaps the first attempts to communicate complex ideas visually. Yet, without a Rosetta Stone of the prehistoric world, these interpretations remain largely speculative.
Finally, the site raises existential questions about the trajectory of civilization itself. Göbekli Tepe existed long before cities, writing systems, or structured governance. It demonstrates that humans were capable of monumental, symbolic, and social achievements before traditional markers of civilization appeared. Could this mean that our ancestors were more intellectually and spiritually advanced than we ever imagined? Were hunter-gatherers capable of abstract thought, cultural cohesion, and ritualistic complexity far earlier than textbooks suggest? Göbekli Tepe remains a profound reminder of human ingenuity, curiosity, and the drive to create meaning. Its stones have stood for 12 millennia, whispering a story of a society that defies conventional understanding. As archaeologists continue to dig, study, and interpret the site, each discovery deepens the mystery, reminding us that the past is not a static record, it is a living, unfolding puzzle. This site is not just history frozen in stone, it is a mirror of humanity itself, reflecting our earliest attempts to understand life, the cosmos, and our place within it. And perhaps in the coming years, Göbekli Tepe will reveal more secrets, rewriting our understanding of who we are and where we come from. Turkey, waiting to be unearthed. Göbekli Tepe's significance extends far beyond its stones and carvings. Its discovery has reshaped our understanding of human history and continues to influence archaeology, anthropology, and even philosophy. The site is a testament not only to what early humans could achieve, but also to the power of imagination, spirituality, and social cohesion in shaping human society. One of the most profound legacies of Göbekli Tepe is its challenge to conventional historical timelines. For generations, textbooks taught that agriculture and permanent settlements came first, paving the way for religion, monumental architecture, and social hierarchies. Göbekli Tepe flips this narrative. It suggests that spiritual and communal life may have been the catalyst for civilization, not the byproduct. The temple forces scholars and the public alike to reconsider the forces that drive human innovation. The site also underscores the universality of human curiosity and creativity. Across continents and millennia, humans have sought to understand the unknown, to organize their communities, and to communicate abstract ideas through symbols, art, and architecture. Göbekli Tepe is one of the earliest examples of this drive, a monumental testament to the fact that even in the harshest, most precarious environments, humans sought to leave a mark, to tell a story, and to connect with something greater than themselves. Modern archaeologists, using advanced technology such as 3D scanning, ground-penetrating radar, and chemical soil analysis, are gradually uncovering the full extent of the site.
Each new discovery not only illuminates the ingenuity of its builders, but also raises new questions about the social, spiritual, and intellectual capabilities of prehistoric humans. Göbekli Tepe's influence also reaches into popular culture and modern thought. It has inspired books, documentaries, lectures, and debates about the origins of religion, civilization, and symbolic thought. Its enigmatic presence has prompted philosophers, historians, and scientists to reflect on the relationship between humans and their environment, the origins of cooperative behavior, and the role of spirituality in societal development.
Perhaps the most enduring legacy of Göbekli Tepe is its ability to remind us of our own potential. The people who built it did not have the technology, knowledge, or resources we take for granted today. Yet, with ingenuity, cooperation, and imagination, they created something monumental, something that would endure for 12,000 years. In a sense, Göbekli Tepe is not only about the past, it is a mirror of what humanity is capable of when vision and purpose converge. In the final analysis, Göbekli Tepe is more than an archaeological site. It is a symbol of human aspiration, a testament to the early desire to seek meaning, communicate ideas, and leave a legacy. It forces us to ask questions that remain as relevant today as they were millennia ago. How do we define civilization? What drives humans to create, to gather, to imagine? And perhaps most profoundly, how much of our story remains buried, waiting to be uncovered? Göbekli Tepe stands as a monument to these questions, a silent, enduring witness to the birth of culture, community, and consciousness. And as we continue to explore its mysteries, we are reminded that the story of humanity is far richer, more complex, and more astonishing than we ever imagined. Göbekli Tepe in context. Comparing ancient sites around the world. Göbekli Tepe does not exist in isolation. While it is unique in its scale, age, and sophistication, it is part of a global tapestry of early human achievement, where the impulse to create monumental structures and sacred spaces emerges repeatedly across cultures and continents. By comparing Göbekli Tepe with other ancient sites, we gain insight not only into its singular importance, but also into the universality of human imagination and ritual. Consider Stonehenge in England, built around 3000 to 2000 BCE, some 7,000 to 8,000 years after Göbekli Tepe. Stonehenge shares certain features: massive stones arranged in circular patterns, possible celestial alignments, and ceremonial purposes. Yet the builders of Stonehenge had access to more advanced tools and established communities. Göbekli Tepe, in contrast, was created by hunter-gatherers who had neither permanent settlements nor advanced technology. The contrast underscores how early humans were capable of monumental achievement, even without the trappings of civilization. Similarly, in Mesopotamia, the ziggurats of Ur and other Sumerian cities arose around 2100 BCE, serving religious and administrative functions. Like Göbekli Tepe, they demonstrate an early fusion of spirituality, architecture, and social organization. However, Göbekli Tepe predates them by millennia and lacks the urban infrastructure that typically accompanies monumental building. This suggests that ritual and religion may have been a primary driver of societal complexity rather than a consequence of urban development.
Even further afield, in the Americas, prehistoric ceremonial mounds and earthworks, such as those built by the Cahokia civilization in North America, or the ancient mound builders of the Mississippi Valley, reveal a similar impulse. Humans constructing sacred spaces to organize social, spiritual, and political life. While geographically and culturally distinct, these sites echo a shared human instinct to mark the landscape with meaning, to gather communities, and to assert connections to the cosmos. Göbekli Tepe's carvings also have parallels with symbolic traditions worldwide. The depiction of animals, abstract forms, and possibly celestial references is reminiscent of cave art across Europe, including Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain. These earlier artistic endeavors demonstrate that humans were thinking symbolically tens of thousands of years before Göbekli Tepe. But what sets the site apart is its integration of art, architecture, and ritual at a monumental scale.
What emerges from this global perspective is striking. Göbekli Tepe is both unique and universal. It is unique in its age, sophistication, and the mystery of its builders. Yet it is universal in the sense that it embodies the fundamental human drive to create, to worship, to communicate ideas through symbolic and monumental forms. It represents a recurring theme in human history, the desire to bridge the material world and the spiritual, to transform social cooperation into enduring cultural legacy. Moreover, Göbekli Tepe challenges us to rethink timelines of innovation worldwide. If hunter-gatherers in the Fertile Crescent could construct such a site 12,000 years ago, it is possible that similar advances, spiritual, social, and architectural, were happening elsewhere, unrecorded, and now lost to time. The site becomes not only a key to understanding human prehistory, but also a reminder of how much of our story remains buried, waiting to be discovered. In the grand story of civilization, Göbekli Tepe stands as a prologue, a luminous opening chapter that reshapes our understanding of what humans were capable of long before the rise of cities, kingdoms, and written history. It is a testament to human imagination, to cooperation, and to the enduring quest to understand our place in the universe, a quest that continues to this day across the globe. The future of Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is more than a relic of the past. It is a living challenge to modern archaeology, anthropology, and our understanding of human potential. Even after decades of excavation, it remains largely buried and only partially explored. The future of Göbekli Tepe lies not only in what has already been uncovered, but in the hidden depths that await discovery, promising to transform our comprehension of prehistory yet again. Modern technology is revolutionizing the study of this ancient site. Ground-penetrating radar, satellite imaging, and 3D modeling are revealing new enclosures and uncovering details invisible to the naked eye. Scientists are beginning to map the site, layer by layer, detecting subtle variations in soil, stone placement, and residue that could shed light on construction techniques, ritual practices, and social organization. Every new discovery adds depth to the story and hints at even greater complexity than previously imagined. Preservation is another critical aspect of Göbekli Tepe's future. The site faces threats from natural erosion, weathering, and human activity. Archaeologists and local authorities are working tirelessly to stabilize the structures, protect carvings from the elements, and create sustainable systems for research and tourism. Advanced techniques,
such as chemical consolidation of stone surfaces and climate-controlled shelters, are being considered to ensure that Göbekli Tepe survives for future generations to study and admire. The ongoing study of Göbekli Tepe also has profound implications for our understanding of human origins and civilization. If the site continues to reveal evidence of complex social structures, spiritual life, and monumental engineering among hunter-gatherers, it could fundamentally reshape our textbooks, challenging centuries of assumptions about the evolution of human societies. We may come to see spirituality, cooperation, and symbolic thought not as byproducts of civilization, but as drivers of its very emergence. Moreover, Göbekli Tepe's future lies in its ability to inspire the human imagination. Writers, filmmakers, and thinkers across the world are drawn to its mystery. Its monumental pillars and enigmatic carvings invite speculation about lost knowledge, ancient wisdom, and humanity's enduring quest for meaning. In this sense, Göbekli Tepe is not only an archaeological treasure, it is a cultural and philosophical touchstone, reminding us of our ancestors' ingenuity and the enduring power of curiosity. Scientific collaboration across nations is also a key component of its future. Multidisciplinary teams, including archaeologists, anthropologists, geologists, and astronomers, are beginning to study Göbekli Tepe holistically. By combining insights from multiple fields, researchers hope to decode its symbolic language, understand its alignment with celestial events, and reconstruct the social and spiritual life of the people who built it. Each breakthrough brings us closer to answering questions that have lingered for 12,000 years.
Finally, the future of Göbekli Tepe lies in public engagement and education. As awareness of its significance spreads, the site has become a symbol of the extraordinary capabilities of early humans. It encourages us to rethink what it means to be civilized, what drives cultural and technological innovation, and how spiritual and social impulses shape human progress. By connecting the past with the present, Göbekli Tepe inspires a profound appreciation for the enduring quest of humanity to understand, to create, and to leave a mark on the world. In the centuries to come, Göbekli Tepe will continue to challenge, inspire, and astonish. Every stone, every carving, every buried layer is a testament to human vision, cooperation, and the relentless pursuit of meaning. The site is not simply a relic of prehistory, it is a beacon pointing forward, reminding us that the story of humanity is far from complete, and that the mysteries of our past continue to shape our future. The philosophical and existential reflections of Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is more than an archaeological marvel. It is a profound mirror reflecting humanity's earliest attempts to understand existence itself. As we stand before its colossal stone pillars, etched with enigmatic symbols and animals, we are confronted not just with the technical achievements of prehistoric humans, but with their quest for meaning, spirituality, and connection, a quest that resonates across millennia. At a philosophical level, Göbekli Tepe challenges our assumptions about progress. For centuries, the narrative of human history has been linear: survival, agriculture, settlement, technology, and finally culture and religion. Göbekli Tepe suggests an alternative narrative, that the search for meaning, ritual, and symbolic expression may have preceded the practical necessities of survival. This raises profound questions about human motivation. Are we driven first by survival, or by a deep, intrinsic need to understand our place in the cosmos?
Were our ancestors motivated not solely by hunger or shelter, but by a spiritual and intellectual longing that compelled them to gather, create, and build the monumental? The site also invites reflection on the nature of human cooperation and social cohesion. The construction of Göbekli Tepe would have required coordination, planning, and shared purpose on a scale previously thought impossible for hunter-gatherer societies. This implies that humans, even in their earliest forms, were capable of extraordinary collaboration, collective vision, and the creation of enduring social structures, all motivated, perhaps, by shared belief, ritual, and symbolic understanding. In other words, the foundations of society may be rooted not just in economics or necessity, but in imagination and shared meaning. Göbekli Tepe also evokes an existential contemplation of time and mortality. The intentional burial of its enclosures suggests that its builders were thinking not only of the present, but of the future, of legacy and the passage of knowledge. They created something monumental, only to cover it deliberately, ensuring that it would endure beneath the earth for thousands of years. This act embodies a profound awareness of human temporality, a recognition that life is fleeting, yet meaning and creation can transcend generations. In this sense, Göbekli Tepe becomes a meditation on human consciousness, impermanence, and the desire for immortality through creation. The symbolism etched into the pillars, the lions, snakes, scorpions, and abstract forms, invites reflection on human perception of the natural world. These images may encode myths, cosmological observations, or allegories about life and death. They suggest that humans were capable of abstract thought, narrative construction, and symbolic reasoning far earlier than previously believed. Göbekli Tepe thus challenges our understanding of what it means to be human, not merely a biological organism, but a storytelling, meaning-making creature seeking to interpret the universe and assert its place within it. In contemplating Göbekli Tepe, we are reminded that the origins of civilization are not merely material. They are intellectual, spiritual, and social. The site compels us to reflect on our own lives, our quest for purpose, and the ways in which we leave legacies that may echo far beyond our own time. In this sense, Göbekli Tepe is not just history frozen in stone. It is a philosophical dialogue across 12,000 years, inviting us to consider who we are, where we come from, and what it means to be human.
Göbekli Tepe is not only a window into the past, it continues to resonate deeply with the present, inspiring reflection on the spiritual and existential dimensions of human life. Its monumental stones and enigmatic carvings speak to a shared human impulse, the search for meaning, the desire to connect with forces larger than ourselves, and the need to create sacred space. Even 12,000 years after its construction, Göbekli Tepe engages the imagination of scholars, spiritual seekers, and the general public alike. For modern spirituality, the site serves as a reminder of humanity's earliest engagement with the sacred. Before cities, writing, or formal religions, humans felt compelled to gather, to create symbols, and to erect monumental structures as acts of reverence. The implication is profound. The spiritual dimension of human life is not a late development. It is intrinsic to our very nature. Ritual, symbolism, and communal gathering were central to early human society, suggesting that spirituality is a driving force in human evolution, rather than a byproduct of it. Göbekli Tepe also resonates with contemporary philosophical and spiritual movements that emphasize connection, mindfulness, and harmony with nature. The carvings of animals, lions, foxes, snakes, birds, reflect a profound respect and awareness of the natural world.
Modern interpreters see in these depictions a proto-ecological consciousness, a recognition that humans are deeply intertwined with their environment, and that spirituality is inseparable from the living world around us. In this sense, the site invites reflection on how early humans viewed their place in the cosmic order, a theme that continues to inspire contemporary spiritual practice. The intentional burial of the enclosures adds a further layer of spiritual significance. It suggests that the builders were engaging with concepts of impermanence, legacy, and transformation. By covering their sacred spaces, they may have been acknowledging the cyclical nature of life and death, the ephemeral nature of human existence, and the enduring power of ritual and memory. Today, this act resonates with modern spiritual and philosophical practices that emphasize letting go, renewal, and reverence for cycles of existence. Göbekli Tepe's continuing influence is evident in contemporary culture, from documentaries and books to art and meditative practice. It inspires people to reflect on the mysteries of existence, the origins of belief, and the ways in which humans create meaning collectively. Many see it as a symbol of the universal human quest for transcendence, understanding, and unity, bridging the gap between ancient rituals and modern spiritual exploration. Moreover, the site challenges modern spirituality to consider its deep historical roots. It reminds us that our ancestors, in a world far removed from our own technological and social complexities, sought the same understanding of life, cosmos, and community that continues to inspire us today. Göbekli Tepe connects us to a lineage of human curiosity, reverence, and imagination, showing that the search for the sacred is a thread running through the entirety of human history. In essence, Göbekli Tepe serves as a bridge across time, a place where ancient spirituality meets modern inquiry, where stone and symbol speak to questions of existence, morality, and purpose. It reminds us that even in the earliest chapters of human history, our ancestors were asking the same fundamental questions we ask today. Who are we? Why are we here? How do we connect with the world around us? And how can our actions leave meaning for generations yet to come? Göbekli Tepe stands as a monument to these questions, a timeless altar to human curiosity, devotion, and imagination. It invites us to consider spirituality not merely as a modern phenomenon, but as a deep and enduring part of our shared human heritage.
The scientific debates and controversies. Göbekli Tepe has captivated the world, not only for its monumental architecture and artistry, but also for the intense scientific debates it has sparked. Since its excavation, researchers have wrestled with questions about its purpose, its builders, and the implications for human history. These debates reveal as much about our understanding of human civilization as they do about the site itself. One of the central controversies concerns the timeline of human development. Traditionally, scholars believed that agriculture and permanent settlements were prerequisites for monumental construction. Göbekli Tepe, built by hunter-gatherers thousands of years before the rise of farming, upends this assumption. Klaus Schmidt, the lead archaeologist, argued that religious or spiritual motivation may have preceded agriculture, suggesting that ritual gatherings drove early humans to create complex social structures and even to experiment with farming. Critics, however, argue that this theory is speculative and that we may be overestimating the sophistication of prehistoric hunter-gatherers. The debate continues. Was Göbekli Tepe the spark that led to civilization, or an isolated anomaly in human history? Another point of contention is the interpretation of the carvings and symbols. The T-shaped pillars, animals, and abstract motifs have been read in multiple ways. Some scholars see them as religious or ritualistic symbols, possibly representing gods, ancestors, or spiritual totems.
Others propose that they encode astronomical knowledge, acting as an early form of a star map or calendar. Yet others suggest social or political meanings, where the carvings conveyed messages about clan identity, hierarchy, or territorial claims. The lack of written records from this period means that interpretations remain speculative, and every hypothesis sparks debate. Even the construction techniques are controversial. How did a society without wheels, draft animals, or metal tools transport and erect massive stone pillars weighing up to 20 tons? Some archaeologists propose the use of wooden sledges, ropes, and coordinated manpower. Others suggest that we may be underestimating the ingenuity of early humans, or that unknown methods, perhaps now lost, were employed. These debates force a reassessment of the engineering capabilities of prehistoric societies. Even the purpose of the site is debated. While many researchers support the idea of a ceremonial or religious center, others propose multifunctional roles. Could Göbekli Tepe have served as a political gathering place, a social hub, or even a proto-academic site for sharing knowledge? Some suggest it may have been a combination of all these functions. The deliberate burial of the enclosures, far from being an anomaly, complicates interpretations further. Was this a ritual act, a practical decision, or a symbolic gesture whose meaning is now lost to time? Göbekli Tepe has also sparked wider, sometimes controversial theories outside mainstream archaeology. Writers and theorists have speculated about lost civilizations, advanced prehistoric knowledge, and connections to myths of ancient wisdom. While these ideas often capture the public imagination, mainstream science urges caution. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Nevertheless, these debates highlight Göbekli Tepe's power to challenge assumptions, inspire inquiry, and provoke reflection on the limits of our historical understanding. In essence, the scientific debates surrounding Göbekli Tepe reflect the broader challenge of interpreting humanity's deep past. The site forces scholars to ask not just how it was built, but why it existed, and what it tells us about the origins of culture, religion, and social organization. It stands at the intersection of archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy, a place where evidence meets imagination, and where every stone carved 12,000 years ago continues to spark conversation, controversy, and awe.
Göbekli Tepe reminds us that history is never fixed. Each discovery, each new analysis reshapes our understanding. And in this dialogue between past and present, the site continues to challenge, inspire, and provoke one of the most important questions of all. What does it truly mean to be human? Göbekli Tepe in popular culture and media. Göbekli Tepe's influence extends far beyond the realm of archaeology and academia. Since its excavation, the site has captured the imagination of the global public, inspiring documentaries, books, films, podcasts, and countless online discussions. Its enigmatic pillars, ancient carvings, and profound mysteries resonate with a universal fascination, the allure of the unknown, and the human quest for meaning. Documentaries have been instrumental in bringing Göbekli Tepe to a worldwide audience. Films produced by National Geographic, the BBC, and other international broadcasters have highlighted the site's age, scale, and historical significance, often framing it as a revolutionary discovery that challenges established narratives of civilization. These visual narratives allow audiences to appreciate the monumentality of the site, the intricacy of the carvings, and the mystery of its builders, bringing to life the extraordinary story of a society from 12,000 years ago. Books on Göbekli Tepe range from rigorous academic analysis to speculative explorations of its purpose. Archaeologists such as Klaus Schmidt have published detailed accounts of their excavations, focusing on the technical achievements, social implications, and ritual significance of the site. Meanwhile, authors in the realm of alternative history and mysticism have woven narratives linking Göbekli Tepe to lost civilizations, ancient knowledge, and prehistoric spiritual practices. This dual approach, scholarly and imaginative,
underscores the site's ability to inspire both scientific inquiry and human curiosity. In film and visual media, Göbekli Tepe often appears as a symbol of ancient mystery and human ingenuity. Its massive, T-shaped pillars and elaborately carved animals evoke a sense of awe, inviting comparisons to other monumental wonders like Stonehenge or the pyramids of Giza. The site has become a narrative device in storytelling, representing humanity's search for connection, understanding, and transcendence. It bridges the distant past with contemporary fascination, showing that its questions are as relevant today as they were 12 millennia ago. Social media and online platforms have amplified its reach even further. Photographs of the site, 3D reconstructions, and discussions of its carvings circulate globally, sparking debates, interpretations, and creative projects. Enthusiasts speculate about the symbolic meanings of the animals, the celestial alignments, and the possible purposes of the enclosures. In this way, Göbekli Tepe functions as a shared cultural touchstone, connecting people across continents through curiosity, imagination, and reverence for human history. Importantly, its presence in popular culture has fostered greater public engagement with archaeology. Göbekli Tepe has become a gateway for many to explore the origins of civilization, the evolution of human consciousness, and the development of ritual and spirituality. Schools, museums, and public lectures use the site to inspire curiosity and education, highlighting the remarkable capabilities of early humans and the profound lessons that ancient history can teach modern society. Ultimately, Göbekli Tepe's portrayal in popular culture reinforces a central truth. The site is not merely a static archaeological artifact, it is a living narrative, continually being reshaped by our imagination, inquiry, and wonder. Its pillars, carvings, and buried enclosures serve as a canvas for both scientific exploration and human storytelling, bridging the distant past with contemporary fascination. In the eyes of the world, Göbekli Tepe stands as a symbol of human ingenuity, spiritual inquiry, and the enduring mysteries of history. It reminds us that even 12,000 years ago, humans were capable of remarkable creativity, profound symbolism, and monumental achievement, a legacy that continues to captivate and inspire every generation.
Lessons from Göbekli Tepe for modern humanity. Göbekli Tepe is not merely a relic of the distant past. It is a lesson for humanity, a timeless reminder of what humans are capable of when vision, creativity, and collaboration converge. As we study its colossal pillars, intricate carvings, and deliberate construction, we are invited to reflect not only on the ingenuity of our ancestors, but also on what these achievements can teach us about our own societies, values, and potential. One of the most profound lessons is the power of cooperation and collective vision. The construction of Göbekli Tepe would have required hundreds of individuals working together, coordinating labor and sharing knowledge across dispersed hunter-gatherer communities. This was a society without written language, advanced tools, or permanent settlements, yet it achieved monumental feats through shared purpose and collaboration. In a modern context, this underscores the timeless importance of unity, teamwork, and collective problem-solving. Human progress, both past and present, often depends less on individual brilliance and more on our ability to work together toward shared goals. Göbekli Tepe also teaches us about the intrinsic human drive for meaning and spirituality. Long before agriculture, governments, or cities, humans sought to understand their place in the universe, to connect with forces beyond themselves, and to express these understandings through art, architecture, and ritual. This suggests that the pursuit of knowledge, beauty, and spiritual insight is as fundamental to humanity as survival itself. Modern society, in its emphasis on technology and material progress, can draw inspiration from this lesson,
that cultivating culture, creativity, and spiritual reflection is essential to a thriving human experience. Another lesson is the importance of vision and long-term thinking. The deliberate burial of Göbekli Tepe's enclosures shows a society capable of abstract thought, foresight, and planning for the distant future. The builders were aware of legacy, temporality, and the symbolic power of their creation. Today, as humanity faces global challenges, from climate change to social inequality, Göbekli Tepe reminds us of the need to think beyond immediate concerns, to consider the long-term impact of our actions, and to invest in projects that leave enduring value for future generations. Göbekli Tepe also reflects the power of imagination and innovation in shaping society. Hunter-gatherers, traditionally seen as technologically and socially limited, created structures that required complex engineering, symbolic reasoning, and social organization. Their achievements demonstrate that human creativity is not bound by circumstances or resources. It thrives wherever curiosity, problem-solving, and vision are nurtured. For modern humanity, this lesson is a call to embrace innovation, artistic expression, and intellectual exploration, even in the face of constraints or uncertainty. Furthermore, the site emphasizes the universal human need for narrative and symbolism. The carvings of animals and abstract forms, arranged with apparent intention, suggest early attempts to communicate ideas, myths, and cultural knowledge. Today, storytelling, through art, literature, science, and media, remains a cornerstone of human civilization. Göbekli Tepe reminds us that the stories we create, the symbols we share, and the meaning we attach to our experiences are as crucial to society as infrastructure or technology. Finally, Göbekli Tepe serves as a reminder of resilience and possibility. Despite living in a harsh and unpredictable world, these early humans undertook monumental projects, collaborated across communities, and created structures that would survive 12,000 years. In a modern context, it inspires hope that even in times of uncertainty, humanity is capable of extraordinary achievement when vision, cooperation, and creativity align. In essence, Göbekli Tepe is not just a story of the past, it is a guide for the future. It teaches us that spirituality, imagination, collaboration, and long-term thinking are not optional, but foundational to human flourishing. It challenges us to reflect on how we build societies, nurture creativity, and leave legacies that will endure. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that the extraordinary is possible when humanity dares to dream together.
Finally, Göbekli Tepe serves as a reminder of resilience and possibility. Despite living in a harsh and unpredictable world, these early humans undertook monumental projects, collaborated across communities, and created structures that would survive 12,000 years. In a modern context, it inspires hope that even in times of uncertainty, humanity is capable of extraordinary achievement when vision, cooperation, and creativity align. In essence, Göbekli Tepe is not just a story of the past, it is a guide for the future. It teaches us that spirituality, imagination, collaboration, and long-term thinking are not optional but foundational to human flourishing. It challenges us to reflect on how we build societies, nurture creativity, and leave legacies that will endure. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that the extraordinary is possible when humanity dares to dream together. Göbekli Tepe, the continuing mystery. Even 12,000 years after its creation, Göbekli Tepe remains an enigma. Each massive stone, each carved figure, and each buried enclosure holds secrets that continue to baffle archaeologists, historians, and enthusiasts alike. The site challenges our understanding of human capability, spirituality, and social organization, reminding us that the story of our ancestors is far more complex than we ever imagined.
One of the most enduring mysteries is the true purpose of the site. Scholars have proposed countless theories: a temple, a ceremonial center, a social hub, or an astronomical observatory, or a combination of all these functions. Yet no definitive evidence exists to confirm any single explanation. Were these structures built primarily for ritual and spiritual expression, or did they serve a more practical purpose, such as unifying communities, negotiating alliances, or managing seasonal gatherings? The absence of written records from this era leaves these questions tantalizingly open. The intentional burial of Göbekli Tepe's enclosures adds another layer of intrigue. Why would a society painstakingly cover their monumental creations with earth, effectively erasing them from sight for millennia? Some suggest ritual closure, a symbolic act acknowledging the transience of life and the cyclical nature of existence. Others theorize practical motives: protection from environmental damage, or even the cessation of the site's original purpose. Whatever the reason, this act demonstrates a level of abstract thinking and foresight that far exceeds previous assumptions about hunter-gatherer societies.
Beyond its physical and technical mysteries, Göbekli Tepe inspires a profound existential reflection. It asks us to consider the intellectual and spiritual capacities of our ancestors, their desire to leave a legacy, to create meaning, and to engage with forces greater than themselves. The site is a testament to human curiosity, imagination, and the drive to understand the universe, qualities that resonate across time, connecting us to a lineage of thought and creativity stretching back 12 millennia. And yet, for all that has been uncovered, the vast majority of Göbekli Tepe remains unexplored. Layers of buried enclosures, unseen carvings, and subtle features lie beneath the earth, waiting for future generations to discover. Each new excavation has the potential to rewrite our understanding of prehistory, to illuminate human innovation, and to reveal insights about the origins of civilization that we cannot yet imagine. In this sense, Göbekli Tepe is not merely a relic of the past, it is a living mystery. Its stones whisper questions across millennia, challenging us to think deeply about our history, our creativity, and our shared human journey. It reminds us that the story of humanity is not fixed, and that the greatest discoveries often lie just beneath the surface, waiting for those bold enough to seek them. Göbekli Tepe stands, silent and monumental, as a reminder that the past is not fully known, and the quest for understanding is never complete. Its mysteries endure, captivating our imagination and inspiring inquiry, bridging the chasm between the ancient world and our modern quest for meaning.
As the sun sets over the rolling hills of southeastern Anatolia, the massive pillars of Göbekli Tepe stand in solemn silence, their shadows stretching across the earth like echoes of the distant past. Here in this sacred landscape, 12,000 years of human aspiration converge, a testament to vision, creativity, and the enduring quest for meaning. Göbekli Tepe is more than stone. It is the voice of humanity reaching through the ages, a whisper from ancestors who dared to dream, to gather, and to transform their understanding of the world into monumental expression. Its T-shaped pillars, adorned with lions, snakes, and abstract symbols, speak not just of religion or ritual, but of the infinite human desire to connect with each other, with nature, and with the cosmos itself. As we stand among these ancient stones, we are reminded that civilization did not begin with empires or cities, but with imagination, collaboration, and the courage to create something that transcends time. Göbekli Tepe is a mirror reflecting what humanity has always been capable of and what it can still achieve: unity, vision, and a reach toward the eternal. And perhaps that is its greatest gift. In a world that moves so fast, where human achievements often seem fleeting, Göbekli Tepe reminds us that the acts of creation that stem from wonder, purpose, and shared spirit are the ones that endure.
That even the smallest spark of human imagination, when nurtured and shared, can leave a legacy that outlives empires, civilizations, and centuries. As we leave the site, the wind whispering through the ancient stones, it feels as though the builders themselves are speaking to us across the millennia. We dreamed, we gathered, we carved our world into stone, and now, through you, the wonder continues. Göbekli Tepe is a monument, a mystery, and a message. It is a reminder that the extraordinary resides within the human spirit, waiting to be awakened, nurtured, and shared across time. And so, in the silence of the ancient hills, one truth remains eternal. Humanity is defined not by the years it survives, but by the dreams it dares to carve into eternity.